into some kind of an apocalyptic movie or something. And then he realized, oh, this is National Homosexual Day here at Disney Studios. Okay, so my point is this. This is not the America necessarily you grew up in, but this is America that's becoming it. I'm not obsessing on the subject. I've just got a few minutes. I don't want to talk for the entire time. I'm talking about how does a remnant do it? I'll tell you how they do it. They have what I would call, if you want to change the culture, you've got to change it. Catch what they do. This is called a transformation sandwich. A transformation sandwich. 2 slices of bread with a piece of meat in the middle. The first thing is clarity is power. When I say that, whether you're Islamic or whether you're homosexual, whether you're radical this or radical that, you'll notice that the devil is very clear on his agenda. You know, ever notice when the devil attacks you, his goal is to break you down, get you to sin, and compromise. I mean, that's it. He doesn't care how he does it. He's got a very clear end game. Us, our end game, we don't know. Are we trying to save the culture, make the rapture, get everybody to vote Republican? We don't really know what the strategy is. Break them down and destroy them. Steal, kill, destroy. Steal, kill. Very congruent strategy. Any way he can do it. Clarity is power. So one of the first things you have to have is clarity is power. Clarity for what? Clarity goes to the next part of the bun. Proximity, my friend, is power. You have to have a clear agenda of what you want. What do you want? And then you go at it how? By proximity. That's why I put all these people at the top of the mountains, because for the most part, Christians, I'm telling you, if I put a dartboard right there, look at this, I'm putting a dartboard. At the very center is the top of the mountains. I'm talking the top of the mountains. Most Christians don't aim for the top. They're not aiming for the top, well, because it seems immodest to be at the top. I mean, you know, where do you have, like at a Bible school, being at the top would be, well, the most top we want is we want to be a preacher or a worship leader or a famous, Christian somewhere. That's right. We'll aim for the top of the church, missionary music mountain over here. But where in the world do you have kids that are aiming for the top of those places? Secondly, I'm talking about central institutional power. At the very center in terms of education, boom, it's like a mountain there. You know what you got? You got the Ivy League, Harvard. And at the epicenter of, let's say, arts and media, what do you got? You got Hollywood. At the very epicenter of government, you've got presidents and mayors and senators. At the epicenter, of business, you got Wall Street and the Fortune 500. What I'm trying to tell you is, we believers don't aim for those institutions because they're so worldly, they're so carnal, they're so Babylonian. It's such a cringe factor because I'm a nice Christian and it offends me to be around these people. So we Christians don't aim for the central institutions where there's power, and we don't aim for the top. We don't aim for the central institutions, and we don't aim for the top. If clarity is power, let me ask you a question. I'm going to have to deal with the strong man. The strong man is somewhere. Where's the strong man? He's ruling over these centers of influence right there. I just gave you one example of the homosexual movement. I could give you half a dozen others. He goes for the top of those mountains. If the strong man is over here in the arts mountain, how is the church going to deal with the strong man in the arts mountain? Here's a revelation, people. It's like a big revelation. It's an aha everywhere I go. If you want to bind a strong man, you have to go into his house. Oh, my gosh. You got to actually leave your house to go there. You can pray over here. You could do Christian television. You could do prayers. I could do this show with a whiteboard. I could travel around from church to church with a whiteboard. Guess what I'm doing? I'm still lobbing grenades from down the street. If somebody's going to deal with the music industry or the movie industry, guess what we got to do? Go into his house. That's why proximity is power. You got to go in. That's clarity. Clarity, where are you going? To the strong man's house. And when you get there, how do you know it? Well, you know it because that's where the influence is. We're talking to each other because Christians, look at this. I'm going to do it in blue. Here's Christians. If this is the epicenter of influence and this is the periphery, here we are. We're parked out here. Worse yet, we get nervous. We start Christian versions of everything. The world's got TV. We've got Christian TV. The world has school. We got a Christian school. The world has, you name it. The world has government. What do we have? We try to get Christian candidates. They can't get elected. But every now and then we find one, and then we're a little disappointed later on. Because why? Because for the most part, we're on the epicenter. We may be a majority, but we don't fight smart. Why? Because the devil's clear what he wants. He wants gay marriage. He wants proximity. He wants to be in the White House. He wants to be on Wall Street. He wants to be at Hollywood. He's going for the high places. We're not sure we should be there. Why aren't we sure? Because we've had teaching, my friend. Look at this. This is all the years of Hal Lindsey helping to know about the late, great planet Earth. Guess what? While I was all obsessed about not wanting to be left behind, the world took over. Now, as long as I'm here, I've surrendered the territory. Why? Because I was so preoccupied with the Antichrist coming and being left behind. And soon and very soon I'm going to see the king. That the next thing I didn't see coming was liberals taking over the economy and causing bread that cost $20 for a loaf. The problem is, teachers taught, now teachers are having to reteach again. And here's what we're reteaching. That you've got to occupy the culture. You can't just be preoccupied with the end times. You actually have to occupy some territory. By the way, this is a strategy that's going to hit the middle. What's going to hit the middle? We got to go up there. Now, when you go up there, remember this. Proximity is power. Clarity is power. What's in the middle of our transformation sandwich? Well, the enemy does it all the time. He goes for high places. He's very clear what he wants to do. Here's the middle. The middle, if it's a remnant of 3 to 5% that can do that, if Jesus changed the world by changing 12 people that became 120 instead of starting some global, fantastic, big million-man march, what he does is he works with a dozen people. He has a wandering cell group of 12 people. And even one of the 12 is going to flunk the finals. So that means 11 people. But what do you got with Jesus? What do you have? He never leaves Israel. Notice this is a place no larger than New Jersey. And he's wandering around Israel. Here's the Son of the living God. He could have been in Greece. He could have been in China. He could have been in Rome. He's staying there in Newark is what he's doing. He's sticking in one place. Why? Because he's going to change the world, my friend. Like a laser gets more concentrated. The atomic bomb is better than blowing up a gasoline can. Why? Because the power, get this, of small, it's the new big. Ha ha. Small is the new big. You just ask Goliath, hey, what happened to you? I don't know. This little kid comes up to me, there's a little right in the forehead. Done. The kid, the stone, small, big. Remnants are having the impact. What? If they're clear as to what they're doing and God gives them wisdom to know how to handle the favor, to get into proximity to the right places, ka-bing, ka-boom, you know what we got to do? We have to be small enough to be big enough. Here's my final thought. This is a typical mountain. Now, forget about Wall Street for a moment. It's unrealistic. I'm not even in Wall Street. I'm not in Washington. No, who knows? I mean, I could drive there, but nobody's going to invite me in. So here's the situation. You have to understand a strong man's house is, the devil is controlling the house. Where is his house? It's on top of the hill. The strong man's stronghold is on top of the hill. That means that the closer you get to the high places, the more you're going to have to be able to handle the pressure. That's why a lot of us haven't gone up there. You know why? Come on. We're getting nosebleeds right now at the altitude we're at. Can you imagine what it's like when you get into those places? Every fault line that's on the inside of you is subject to pressure. You're an airplane up there at 10,000 feet, it's one level of pressurization. 20,000, it's another. 30,000, completely different. You're a space shuttle. You have to be completely conditioned for outer space. The fact of the matter is, when you're going into those high places, you have to be conditioned for this. But here's the good news. We got the 7 mountains of culture, right? God gives you a mountain. Let's say that mountain is going to be, I don't care what it is, arts, business, media. Take more than one. Those of you that are young people, listen to me. Take a couple of them. Do like Ronald Reagan. Start off with acting, do a couple of movies, then go into the union and become the Screen Actor Guild president, then go into government, become a governor, then after that become a president, and then go back to acting, like some other people might probably benefit by doing. So here's what you got. You got, pick your mountain. But as small as the new big, don't forget about Wall Street. Forget about the White House. How about just East Jabip, New York? Or how about Pasoya, New Jersey or something? In other words, East Jamaica, I don't care. Pick small places. And what you want to do is you want to learn how to take the mountain in a small place. You know why? Look at this. David was raised with a sheepfold. And what does his brothers say to him when he goes to take on the giant or solving a national problem? They say, "Hey, you're there with your few sheep." Few sheep. Listen to how obnoxious that sounds. Your own brothers making fun of you because, hey, you're talking like you're going to be a billionaire. You barely even bought a car. Or you're talking like you're changing the world. You're just a little, guy on a school board. But you see, with those few sheepfold, God